Hello, this is Max Drake. I just want to talk to you about this app. This is a real estate checking out app. Go and see a suburb, find out what's available in the suburb. So we can choose a suburb, we can choose the property type, we can even choose no property type. We can choose a price from or leave it for no price, and then we can fix a price too of a couple of mil or something like that. And we can choose the number of bedrooms and the number of bathrooms, and we can choose whether it's open home or not. So if we actually just say those are the pre-selections that I actually want to make, let's see what you got. And it takes me to this website here, and it's basically built this string based on these criteria here. So it says that's the string, and then those are the results, and we can see those results here. Now this here is a national real estate one that has properties up and down the country, so you can filter by region, you can filter by district, and then you can go through all the suburbs. I actually had to go into each suburb. If you actually see, this suburb is actually just got a code through here, so I actually had to go through each one and find those codes, which was great fun. And then I actually found there was another thing. There was residential for sale and residential for rent. And some of the codings were different. If you actually go through and say property type house here, and we'll just go search. And if we look at that, it says that its category is number 10. If you go into residential for sale and go search, oh, sorry, I've got to go and choose a property type house and go search, you'll see that it's S category 1. So they have different categories for the property type depending on whether they're rental or whether they're things. And again, you'll see for if you're selling, the prices are big numbers, telephone numbers. And if you're renting, then it's a weekly rent number. So the numbers are far smaller. So because of the way that filters and the way that they've got that structured there, just in the GlideApp, at the first thing when I found there was a rent, I decided that I'd build one for rent and a page for sale. So it's pretty much the same thing. So what I basically do in here is that I've got a pull down list, and when I pull down something, it pulls the code down. So when I choose these ones here, if I go to my spreadsheet there, you'll see here's what I asked for. So here, every time I ask for a query, what's the suburb, what's the property, what's the price from, what's the price to, maximum, minimum bedrooms and bathrooms. And within that, I actually want to be able to put null so that it leaves it open. So I don't want to filter down to, I want to have a loose filter. Right at the beginning, I might actually just say, just show me everything in the suburb priced up to 1.8 million or whatever my budget is. And then I'd look a whole lot of suburbs to see what's in those areas and such like that. The only one, so all of those are basically just choice. So we just come down and we choose a choice on the thing. And the last one is something different, is that it's a switch, and that will go from true to false depending on whether that switch is done. And apart from that, that's all we do there. Now what we actually do is inside the choice, each of those ones, if we look at the string of how it actually builds those up, that one there is the same for whatever we do for all rentals. And if we change that for sale, that is one that changes the same, apart from we can actually change that from featured to, annoying. From a featured to, that can be filtered into best match, latest, oldest, lowest price. Maybe latest should be the best one for that, and I might alter that to be the latest rather than what they want to force on you. You can actually just say, just tell us the most current ones that are coming through there. So if I actually want to change that latest, so I'd actually just go back into my string through here, into my input one, and I would just change, whoops, not that one there. We would just change that string to sale by V, latest. So we put that through here, and then the last bit of any of those queries, if you actually look into all of that, it says how many, SQ queries, how many queries, and we're saying maximum 20. Oh, it's got nothing with me again. You can see you've got the choice of 20, 40 or 80 queries returned. So You know, we could put another switch through for that if we wanted to, but that's basically the end of the string. So what I actually do is on all of those, I use a vlookup. Now, what a vlookup does is it says, look up this selection here. And a vlookup always looks at the left-hand side. So it's actually trying to compare what we've got in cell C3. So there's a suburb. So this one here is a suburb one. vlookup C2. Go and look up that cell there. Find a match in the choice sheet, C2 to D54, and then return to me what's in column 2. And false just means that it's not ordered. I've got a feeling you might even be able to leave that out. I'm not sure. It gets confused sometimes, so I would just put it in. So if I actually go into there, so if we just go into our choice sheet and look up Crofton Downs, it says it's S2977. So, and with all of this blurgle and LCT is equal to that. So it's giving a district and it's giving that as a code. So what we say is look up that, return that. So when we look at our sheet on the input, we get the S29999. So that's what we do. We then do that same for the property type. If we look at our choice, we say look up the property type for the sale house one and return one of these. Now if we want blank, we just say return nothing. And that just means it's an empty cell, so it doesn't go into our string. And then we look at the price and we can set prices. And again, if we have null, it just doesn't filter through those things. But here's our choices on all of those. And the same with the number of bedrooms and the number of bathrooms, etc., etc. So after looking up all of that, we just got a massive amount of lookups, and it's just gone and looked up all of those things. Their number of bathrooms, number of things, number of those, maximum number of bathrooms. We haven't even bothered with that. And then we just make a URL, which just concatenates all of those things together. Now it concatenates the start of the string, which is that one by latest. And then at the very end, we put the SQL number of queries. And we're just putting it out as query 20. We could put that as query 40 and or 80, because that seems to be what it does. And it will just put all of those things together, make that string. And if we just fire that one up, there's that filter. And there's that query gone through to the database, and it's just returning everything from the database based on that result through there. So Crofton Downs, if we've got one property selected through there, so if we just turn that off and don't do anything and do a search again, we're still not, oh no, we've got a few more coming through there. So there are a few in Crofton Downs. So that's how that works. I'd like to do another exercise, so this is doing two things. This is just saying how to build up a query string. So you've actually got to look at how they build their query string up, just so that you can make it the same. And also just how to do a real estate search app. So this can be done on sales or it can be done on rent. Now in the rent one, again, if we just go for the sale one, you see pretty much it's all just choice. It's just doing all the choice things. And then the only thing that's different is right at the very end, we've got a switch, because that's a yes, no. And it's basically only open homes, yes or no. And then that's a trigger on that. So pretty much everything else is choice. And for the URL at the beginning, I'm just using a button that goes and looks up that URL. Because once it's been built, here we are, press on it, and there you go. And the same is what I'll be doing for the rent. So with this, I'll both be going through and grabbing another component of choice, grabbing one there, and the column which I'll be doing is, what have I got? Rent 2. So what comes after rent 2 is bedroom minimum, and then I will go to the choice sheet and I will go to the bedroom minimum, and then that's ready to go, and I'm happy with that. So there it is. So then we've got the next switch along there, and then I've got my choices through there, none. And so it doesn't even look, it doesn't put that into the filter, or else I can choose I want 3 bathrooms in my house, etc., etc. Once that's been built, I can press that button. I haven't quite on the rent one built that yet. I've still got to restructure them. A lot of them are looking up
I've just copied and pasted from the sales one, so I've got to map these to the correct ones on the joystick just to make sure that they're looking up the right forms. But other than that, those ones are all the same, the beds, max and mins and things. It's just these rental ones and the property type ones are different as well. So when that does, that'll be able to come through. And also there's a bit of a glitch in there somewhere that it's got a solve. I think I took one of those out. In fact, I did. That was the switch, and we don't need the switch anymore. So in fact, I can actually just blow that bit there away, and it's still not right because I've got these NAs coming through as errors. So once I fix those, that'll be able to do that. And again, those are just vlookups and getting the right areas that it should be looking up. So I hope that's been of interest to you. This will be a part one, and the second part of the video will be just how I built that sheet up from looking at the queries on the web page. So thank you very much for watching. I hope it's been of interest. If you've enjoyed it, can you give it a thumbs up? Thank you very much.